Hey guys, Merhnush here from Ross IELTS Academy. I'm here today to talk to you about the latest IELTS speaking questions. It is always a good idea to practice different questions and topics before the test. However, you don't need to worry. When we talk to our candidates, many of them tell us that their main concern in the speaking is that they don't have a very wide range of vocabulary. Tell you what, it's fine. Not everyone has got the vocabulary to talk about all the familiar and unfamiliar topics. Besides, there is no need to have information about everything so that you can answer all the questions. You need strategies. Okay guys, what we want to do today is to take a look at some of the latest IELTS speaking questions in part 1, and I will give you my answers to them. Then I will explain why I gave those answers, analyzing them based on IELTS criteria. Okay, let's get started. Alright guys, now we want to talk about some of the topics in the first part of IELTS speaking. As you can see here, we have 3 different topics. First, I just read the questions for you. You can just take your time and think about your own ideas, and then you can listen to my answers to these questions, and I will analyze my own answers. So the first topic is friends, the second one is laughter, and the third one is time management. Now we'll start with the questions in the first topic. Here we go. The first question is, what do you and your friends do together? The second question is, how do people in your country meet others and make friends? The third one is, do adults and children make friends in the same way? Now the second topic, laughter. The first question is, do you usually make your friends laugh? The second one, is laughing the same as feeling happy? And the third one, do you think it's important for friends to have the same sense of humor? And now the next topic, time management. The first question is, how do you organize your time? The second one is, do you think old people and young people organize time in the same way? And the third one, how do you feel when you are late for an appointment? So now you can take your time, think about these questions, think about the different criteria that you should take into account regarding IELTS speaking. And then you can come back to me so that we can just listen to my answers. So take your time now. All right, now we'll start with the first topic, giving the answer to those questions. The first topic was about friends. The first question says, what do you and your friends do together? Here's my answer. Well, let me think about it. The thing is that as recently I haven't had enough time to spend with my close friends, I don't really remember what we used to do when we hung out. If we all get the chance, we will meet up in a restaurant to have a meal together, or we go hiking, enjoying the fresh air in the mountains. And now the second question. How do people in your country meet others and make friends? Actually, I assume that it depends on each person's character and preferences. However, people in my country would rather make friends in universities, schools, or at work, since they can confide in the people they spend more time with. And the last question, do adults and children make friends in the same way? Definitely not. In my personal opinion, kids find it easier to communicate with the people their age, while adults may be pickier in terms of making friends due to an irrational fear that new people can hurt their feelings. Now let's take a look at my answers to see what vocabulary range, what fillers, connectives, or structures I have used. First, we start with the collocations and vocabulary, which are marked in red. In the first answer, like for example, the word hangout, get the chance to do something, to meet up, to see a person, to meet up, to go hiking. In the second one, for example, make friends, or confide in, like for example, you confide in a person, like to tell, when you tell your personal feelings and personal things to another person, when you trust them. And And in the third one, to be picky, it's an adjective. Or hurt their feelings, when you hurt somebody's feelings. So it's important to use collocations and idiomatic language if you can. You don't necessarily need to use collocations and some fancy words in all your sentences because that's not possible. Just try to use them correctly and naturally. Now, in the second part, what I want to mention is about the fillers and boosters. You can use them to avoid pausing and hesitating all the time, saying because you need to think. So instead, you can use them like I did. In the first answer, I started giving the answer saying, well, let me think about it, the ones in purple. I don't really remember when you want to talk about your past experiences or something that you should remember. Or in the third one, in my personal opinion, when you want to talk about your opinion, you can use that instead of directly giving the answer. Other than that, it's very important to use good connectives. For example, in the first one, as, which is a synonym for because or since. Or in the second one, however, which is used instead of but when you want to show contrast. Or since, as I said, you can use since, as, or because. In the third answer, while to show contrast. Due to, which means because of. So if you have not watched the video of connectives on our YouTube channel, then go watch them. We have several videos related to these connectives that can be really helpful in your IELTS speaking, writing, and other skills, of course. Now we can move on to the second topic, which is about laughter. So we have 3 more questions here. You have taken your time, you have thought about your ideas, and now we want to take a look at my answers. So the first question was, do you usually make your friends laugh? Here's my answer. Well, it really depends on how much I know them, besides the circumstances that are prevailing. But in principle, I don't really like to make people laugh because sometimes the humorous act might actually offend them, since I wouldn't really know what they have been going through or what kind of mood they are really in. Now in the second one, the question says, is laughing the same as feeling happy? My answer is, I think that laughing is an expression to show that you are happy, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you are happy deep inside when you have a smile on your face or you laugh. In fact, someone can be in pain and laugh only to cheer the people surrounding him or her, or to go along with the flow. Therefore, I'd say that laughing is not the same as feeling content. And the last question. Do you think it's important for friends to have the same sense of humor? My answer is yes. I do think that it is necessary for the people to have the same sense of humor as their friends because having this feature in common can bring them closer to each other as they can remain positive about themselves and their lives. Apart from that, if one is feeling down, the other person can use their sense of humor to relieve the physical and mental tension and the stress of his or her friend. So as you can see, just like the previous topic, I have used some collocations and some good vocabulary related to the topic, and they are marked in red. So for example, in the first answer, prevailing, it means when something exists at a particular time. Humorous act, or in the second answer, to have a smile on your face. Instead of saying I smile, you say I have a smile on my face, or I put on a smile on my face. To be in pain. To go along with the flow. It means to move along with the flow or to accept the existing forces to do what other people do. In the third one, having this feature in common. To have something in common with somebody. It means that you have the same characteristic or feature as somebody else. To remain positive about themselves. You remain positive about yourself or about something. To feel down. It means you feel sad and depressed. You feel unhappy. to relieve the physical and mental tension. It means to reduce the pressure that you feel. So you can use the collocations. If you don't have good vocabulary about the given topic, you can fake your answer. You can go off topic because you need to talk about it, right? You need to give explanations, examples, develop the topic, and what can help you sometimes is to apply this strategy, faking your answer. And if you want to get some practice, if you want to learn how exactly you should do that, you can use our speaking course, because in that course we have completely explained how you should apply the techniques in IELTS speaking, and this one is one of those strategies. Other than that, it's very important to use some discourse markers and fillers and boosters in order to fill up your gaps when you want to hesitate. Instead of pausing, you can use these fillers, right? For example, in the second one, in fact, like the discourse markers, the fillers, or when you don't remember what you wanted to say, you can say, there is also something else that I would like to mention. That's a very good question. Let me think about it. And also, I should say that, and you keep talking. And finally, connectives. They are very important, right? Like, for example, in the first answer, besides, when you want to add more information, which is in addition, and since, when you want to give the reason, it's like because or as. Therefore, which is when you want to give the result, like so. Or in the third one, because, the simple connective. Or apart from that, it means other than that. Besides, when you want to add more information. So this is what you should do. And when you're using them, you can make some complex grammatical structures. Now we can move on to the third topic, which was about time management. Okay, now here the first question says, how do you organize your time? Here's my answer. When it comes to time organization, I can definitely say that I am one of those people who can manage. As I have a hectic schedule, I normally have too many duties to fulfill. So every morning I wake up, I write all my tasks down in my notebook and try to comply with them by the end of the day. This technique helps me a lot with organizing my time. The second question says, do you think old people and young people organize time in the same way? And here is my answer. Absolutely not. Elderlies and youngsters manage time in different ways because their needs differ. This is to say that older ones often don't value time management because most of them are retired and have nothing to worry about, while younger people have so many pressing commitments and strict deadlines. Therefore, they need to establish a timeline and sometimes work from dawn till dusk to make ends meet. And now the last question. How do you feel when you are late for an appointment? My answer is, that is a very good question. Actually, I am very punctual and do my best not to be late for a meeting. However, if I'm not on time for an appointment, I will definitely explain the reason instead of making excuses, covering up my lateness. So, as you can see, I have used some very good collocations here in this topic, time management. Like, for example, in the first one, the ones in red. When it comes to, it means when I should talk about something. Hectic schedule, when you are very busy. Duties to fulfill, it means to do something that you have promised to do. Comply with something, it means to do something. Or in the second one, some very good collocations like pressing commitments, it means very important commitments. Strict deadlines, it means a time or date when somebody must definitely be finished. Or, for example, establish a timeline. It means to make a plan based on the length of time that a project is expected to take. Work from dawn till dusk. It means to work from early in the morning until early evening. Or to work all the day, all the time. To make ends meet, which means to earn enough money to live without getting into debt. And in the third one, punctual. When you say I'm punctual, it means that I'm on time. Do my best. It means I do all I can. Or making excuses. You make excuses and then you cover up something. You cover up your lateness. It means you try to hide a fact. You try to hide that you were late for something. So these are the words and collocations you can use. Other than that, some fillers and boosters, like for example, in the third answer, this is a very good question. And then I started my answer. Or some synonyms you should use, how to paraphrase well. Like for example, in the first one, the first question, the question says, how do you organize your time? And I say, when it comes to time organization, instead of organizing my time, I use time organization. Or in the second one, instead of old people, I used elderlies. Instead of young people, I used youngsters or older ones instead of old people. Time management, because in the question it says how people organize time, and then I used time management instead. Other than that, just like the previous topics, you should use very good connectives. Like in the first one, as, which is because. In the second one, this is to say that when you want to give explanation, you should use it. While, to show contrast. Therefore, to show the result. And in the third one, however, to show contrast, which is an alternative for the word but. So this is what you should do. And this way you can get a better score in your IELTS speaking. Very well, guys. Just like what we did today, you can look for speaking questions, give your own answers to them, record yourself, and then analyze your responses. If you want to be evaluated by us, book an online speaking mock test with our examiners. It will make a big difference. Trust me. I wish you best of luck and see you very soon.
Speaking course. This course is made up of 5 offline speaking videos in which you will learn all the necessary tips and techniques to take the IELTS speaking test with a high score.
Tell me about your family. Do you like?
In addition to that, you will have access to useful grammar and vocabulary resources. Once you finish your course, you will have 1 online mock test of speaking, along with comprehensive feedback under the same exam conditions.
Interesting question.
Join us to become our next successful candidate.